Hey, how's it going, world? This is Corey Lee. Don't mind my moving around and bouncing around and carrying things. I'm actually in the middle of a decent little side job here. I'm working on, and most of the time when I'm in the middle of stuff like this is usually when I get a lot of downloads, man, and I actually want to put them out there uh, the way that they need to be. So today I want to talk to you about one of the scariest things or one of the oddest things about being with an artist, knowing an artist, being married to an artist, being the son or daughter of an artist, just knowing an artist in general, especially being married to one, like, or being the child of one. Like, if you in the same household and you see them every day, you around them every day, you interact with them every day, this can be quite challenging. And this ain't necessarily a scary thing. It's just different from how you might know a lot of other people to be. Sorry, y'all. I done lost my angle trying to move this baseboard in. So it's a little different than how you might know a lot of other people to be, right? So the thing about an artist is that artists have to learn how to be very observant people, especially if you are a multi-talented artist, right? Like, I'm a multi-talented artist. I can do like construction-based art, like I know how to build things that are like works of art that most people only really have a lot of carpentry skills on, but I take that and then like bring it to the level of art. Um, I'm an artist in filmmaking, an artist in photography. I was once a music artist for like 10 years. I used to coach and record a lot of other people's music for a long time. And so, like, not only do I have a lot of experience in my own art, I have a lot of experience in how other people build their art, right? And so that's a whole nother realm, because that take you all the way out of your own mind, and you got to put yourself in somebody else's shoes and show somebody else how to present themselves for how you might see them, or how you might see the world see them, or like how they might even see themselves. So that's a whole nother level right there. Man, like, oh, this is too long to be moving around these little odd and end corners and whatnot, but good thing this thing flexible. So the thing about the mind of an artist is that they are a very observant person. They might miss some things sometime, and the only reason they do is because of what else they are observing in that moment, right? And so like that's the thing about observant people, is that observant people, they pay real close attention to a thing at a time, a thing at a time. And then at some point in time, they learn to form the landscape view of it. But they might even do that first. But, get the landscape down first and then pay attention to the details. Right? So when I do my landscape photography, one of the things that I do is I look at the whole scene. Like, I want the whole backdrop first. And then I look at all the little detail elements in it. And then sometime I might say to myself, I like some of these detail elements in it. Let's build a whole landscape around it. Just depending on what angle we have, what lens we use, what time of day we go out and shoot, what other detail elements are in it, what else can we put in it, right? And so artists, they have a wide imagination. Sometimes they can insert details where they really just don't belong, or they really just haven't been there yet. Sometimes they learn to be very future thinking. But not that artists are predictable, it's just that they know how to predict. They are very future thinking through the skill set of being observant. And so a lot of times, even though they might not catch on to some things right away, they eventually learn to predict the future through individual aspects of things that they are learning to observe in different situations. Right? So like, let's just say, like this was like a thing about like one of my kids. Not that this is a real story. It might turn into a real story, but I'm really just making this up off the top of my head. And maybe I might get sick of making it up off the top of my head and just really start telling a real story. So let's just say like one of my kids had something that they were hiding, right? And I would notice them always leave the house at a certain time because they want to go to the store. And it'll always be at the same time, right? Not even at the same time, but the same time frequency, every couple hours. And I'm like, you really got money to be going back and forth to the store like every few hours? And I start thinking like, man, I wonder what they like at the store that much. I wonder why they go to the store that much. Then I would start noticing other things, like it's blistering cold outside and you still want to walk to the store. Man, they must really like walking. Then I would start noticing other things, like every time you come back in, you act different. Then I would start noticing other things. Every time you come back in, you not only act different, but you start eating up all the snacks after you just left the store. Right? So what could that mean? You going out to hit some weed. And you trying to play me like you just going to the store. Right? So like some people might catch on to that right away. Like even if they gotta form some kind of accusation first, not knowing what they're talking about. But artists don't like to assume, right? They like to know that they write about something before they, before they put it on wax, right? Before I record this track, man, I sound like such a cornball. So like before I record this song, I want to make sure the song makes sense. Before I record this song, I want to make sure that it all sounds true. Before I record this song, I want to make sure the emotions are right. Before I record this song, I want to make sure both of my verses, including my features, go with each other. Like they can bounce off each other. They seem to keep the same tune. Before I record this song, I need to not forget ad libs and dub tracks. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like they pay attention to individual things per time. Like you listen to the song once for this reason. Then you listen to the song twice for another reason. Then you listen to the song 3 or 4 times for a whole different reason. It's like then after a certain period of time, after so long of being able to know how to organize your thoughts based on like repetition, right? You then know how to just do it all off the top of your head, and that becomes a more future thinking thing, right? So like as soon as you start writing a song, you already know what it's gonna sound like. But why? Because you done this too many times. Like you already know what your voice sound like. You already know how hype you might be. You already know who else is gonna sound right on it. You already know what kind of melody need to go with it. You already know the beats per minute and everything like that to the instrumental is just already in your head. So that's the reason why artists can be very future thinking people, is because they spend a long time not jumping straight to conclusions. And that's why it might seem like they might be first a little airheaded, or a little naive, or a little gullible, but that's far from the truth. They're not naive or gullible like they might come off to be. They make a lot of mistakes because they hoping to God. They're hoping to God that this is not what I think it is. Sometimes that's how an artist can be. They're hoping to God that this is not another one of them things coming by that I think everything is. This is not another one of them kind of people that I think everybody like this is. I don't want to judge anybody. I want to live my life as if it was an album. I don't want every song to be on repeat. Therefore, I tend to give everybody a chance, because if I give nobody a chance, that's the same as repeat. Like, you see what I'm saying? I tend to take a lot of people up on their word, because not taking people up on their word doesn't give flavor to my life. I tend to view everybody first as the person they say they are. Then I let life tell me something different if it's different. I don't want to start off jumping to conclusions, making judgments. Sometimes I paid heavy prices in my life for just not being a little more judgmental. Sometimes I done made some of the worst mistakes from just not being a little more judgmental off the jump. But then again, you don't want to be like that either, because you don't want people to take you like that. You don't want people to take you like that because you know that you are not what you look like. You know that your mind is deeper than your level of grammar, right? Like, sometimes I say that about myself. Sometimes I go back and I listen to my videos sometime, and I'm like, man, if only my grammar was as deep as my thoughts are, I could probably make a lot more sense sometime. And that's why it sounds like I use so many words, because I don't have that one word for it all the time. That's why it sounds like I might explain something for too long, because like I don't always have that one phrase to go by. See, I don't watch a lot of movies, so I don't know a lot of punchlines and catchphrases and things of that nature that everybody usually pick up from the movies. I'm not that much of a formal education kind of a person, so I don't know a lot of big words for things. And artists don't necessarily want to go with the flow. They always want to explore, try new things. They don't want to just fall in line like everybody else, because that puts no music in the life. That gives them no adventure. I mean, just imagine if everybody painted a picture and it was all the same picture. That's crazy. Artists like to really study. They need personal time to themselves in order for them to be the person you like them for. An artist is like a flower or a butterfly. If you pluck up a flower and put it in a jar to hog it for yourself, it's eventually going to die. And it'll no longer be that thing you once picked it up for. Leave it there and let it be itself. And you can admire that flower's growth every time you walk by it. An artist is usually a person that needs to be followed, and not somebody that always follow. But an artist do have to follow, because that's the only way they can know how to be the person to follow. An artist doesn't necessarily desire to be followed, because they know what kind of responsibility that is, and they don't want somebody else's blood on their hands if they go the wrong way. But at the end of the day, that's the lot God has picked out for them. There is nothing else they can do about it. They don't always got to be the team leader. But when they do step up and say something, they know they're right. That's when they do. And artists don't like to be heard all day long. They admire mental space. They take more pleasure in releasing their thoughts out in their work and in the things they do for others. They don't want to sit around making small talk all day, because small talk takes away from them being able to have that part of their spirit, that energy left in their soul to be able to express themselves to be the best that they can be for everybody else. I'm going to say that again. Most artists do not like sitting around making small talk all day, because that pulls the energy out of their soul that everybody else around them need them to have in order for them to be who they should be for everybody else. That right there is something a lot of people struggle with when it comes to artists. They don't like being on the phone all day. They don't like other people implanting thoughts in their head that are contrary to the route they want to go that day or that year or that week. Like, they don't like outside forces controlling their mental space. They might not always answer the phone, not because they want to ignore you, not because they don't want to talk to you. They might just really need to talk to themselves for a moment in order to even know what to say to you, even if y'all did talk. The last thing you want to do is to be on the line with somebody that ain't got nothing to say. You better off on the line with somebody that do got something to say. Wait for them to actually have something to say and actually enjoy what it is they do say. An artist might take a long time to express love and intimacy with somebody because they like to build it. And like, an artist like to build love. They don't like to just sit around throwing it out all day long. No, they like to take the time to make sure this is the perfect way to do this. This is the perfect way to do this. Right? I'm not somebody with a lot of money. Not right now. But one day I will be. And I know that to be true. I don't just hope and dream that, I know it. I actually have something tangible that I can bank that on. Sometimes I get jealous of a lot of guys who are in positions to where they can just buy stuff for their wife all the time. Every time you see them a new necklace, every time you see them a new ring. You know, they make money in their sleep. And so they just go and throw money around in a heartbeat and say, this is my expression of love. Which, I mean, that might be somebody's true expression of love. I'm not discounting that. After all, I wish I could do it. You know? But what I like to do for my wife is in times when I can't spend money on expressing the fact that I thought about her, in times when I can't spend money or I don't have any creative idea on some kind of date or something like that, what I would do is I would take my artistic mind and I would make her something. And even though it took me a week, and it probably costs way less than anything you might find in a jewelry store, that's a week's worth of my time. I just made her epoxy resin, a gold and purple beaded gummy bear epoxy resin necklace. It literally looked like a gold and purple gummy bear, and all the beads are individually gold and purple. The gold beads I put purple glitter in. The purple beads I put gold glitter in. It took a lot of time to put that together. It really did. I mean, how much you think that necklace would cost if it was on like an Etsy store? Like what? Like $25? But it took a lot of time to let all that resin cure. Mixing it all. Having to wait another day because I don't got enough molds like to make more pieces at once. She didn't know I was making it for her. I told her I was making them to sell them. I really might not ever do that. But she was on my mind when I was putting that together because I know purple is one of her favorite colors. My daughter liked it. Both my daughters liked them. Like, my youngest daughter kept picking up the bears and running with them. My bear, and my Care Bear. And then my oldest daughter wore it around her neck like, yeah, Daddy, this fits me. I'm like, I'm sorry. This ain't for y'all. Sorry. Sorry. I feel bad. Maybe I might do something else for one of y'all. That's the way an artist express love and compassion. But, maybe they might seem a little distant sometimes. It's only distant for benefit. See, some people can judge people like they would judge everybody else. If I was just a bum off the streets, with no goals, no inclinations, all I wanted to do is smoke weed and play the game, I could understand if you would think that my distance would be the same as possibly cheating, right? But I have too many things I love to do. I have too many things I like to do. If I was just a bum off the streets, no goals, no inclinations, no business ideas, all I want to do is smoke weed, play the game, and hang out with my boys, homeboys, not my sons. I could understand if you could see my lack of interaction to be the same as I'm interested in somebody else. That would make sense. See, artists know how to make sense. They know how to judge people's moves accordingly to who that person is, not what any other person would do. But usually my distance is more so involved in more so has a lot to do with, see, that's what I mean by my short grammar. Like, usually my distance has a lot more to do with what is my next move for the sake of my family. What is the next assignment God has on my life? I need time to think about that and consider that. Because God already showed me what my future would look like. And every time he has a new assignment on my life, I'm really trying to ponder, is this that? Or is this just another thing leading me to that? I really need to know. See, when God show you your future, you get kind of like like really into an assignment, because you don't know if this is the one right here. Like, you just don't know. My distance is organizing my thoughts so that I could be a better version of myself for everybody else. That's kind of how an artist is. An artist need time to breathe, time to make moves, room to make mistakes, room to be wrong for once. And the only way they can be wrong for once is unless they were allowed to take the lead. An artist desires to take the lead in all situations. And if they're ever wrong about something, they'll be more than happy to say, hey, it's on me. Hey, yeah, like that one right there. Yeah, that one's on me. I was wrong about that move right there. My bad, scratching my head. Messed up my waves. I'm just messing with you. But if an artist is always pushed in the background, overstepped, not heard, they are going to believe that a lot of people around them are better off with anybody other than they are, anybody other than them. Not saying an artist need to be in the front all the time, just like I said before. When an artist is right, they know they are. They took the time to pay close attention to this a long time before they ever drew a conclusion. Sometimes they might let a whole lot slide. Sometimes they might look around at a lot of things that need correction before they ever open up their mouth and say, I have to address this today. I got things right now it's taking me years to address, specifically because I want to make sure I'm right. I can look around at some of the things I see some of my peers do. I don't say nothing about right away. For all I know, this could be seasonal. This could be a phase. For all I know, this is just the normal way that they need to go before God come and deal with them. I don't want to get in the way of that. I don't want to get in the way of them bumping their head so that way they could turn to Christ wholeheartedly. Last thing I want to do is stop somebody from seeing exactly why they need a savior. And then you got them times when you need to step in and say something and address something. A lot of people might think that a true artist lives in a fantasy world. That's not a true artist. It could be an artist, but a true artist does not live in fantasy world. Even though the moves they make in their lives might create a sense of one, it could look that way, but they always have a realistic reason for why they do what they do, even if it seems like it's a fantasy. A true artist eventually learned to be more realistic. Be a realist about everything. What is it? If I don't look at everything for what it is, not for what I wish it was, but for what it is, I will never really be able to deal with it properly. Like, that's like taking them baseboards I just brought in here and like and saying to myself, this looks like siding. Maybe I can use this as siding. No, you think because it looked like siding that mean it could be used that way, but this is wood. unstained wood. You can't just start stapling that to the side of a house. You can't just start brad nailing that to the side of a house. It ain't gonna work right. That's wood. Use it for what it's good for, not for what you think it could be perfect for. And then you know how to take stuff for what it's good for and then twist it to your own liking, because you know what it can and cannot be. You know how far you should and should not go with it. A lot of people compliment a lot of my work when it comes to staining and coloring wood. I'm not that much of an expert at building creative things when it comes to woodworking, but I really know how to put a nice color on wood. And that sometimes make what could have looked like garbage, like something plain and simple, like something really creative. Like one of my most prized projects is my daughter's pink and white toy box, like that I made out of all solid oak wood. I'm talking about the thing is couple 100 pounds. I'm not lying to you. The thing is made out of nothing but 3/4 inch thick board, and it's probably like 4 foot long, maybe 3 foot long, 3 foot deep, probably 4 foot long, 3 foot deep, about a good 4 foot, 3 foot high, I would say. It's heavy, and it's got her name cut out on it in wood. Took me a long time to cut that out. Well, that's because it was like you know, it was like one of my first go arounds with it too, so that's probably why it did. Like, let's just say I would have never cut out the nameplate, right? In individual letters cut out in wood, solid wood. Let's just say I would have never put all the LED lights around it, like really thought out spots. Let's just say I would have never stained it pink and put polyurethane and glitter on it. Let's just say I would have never stained it white. It would have looked like somebody's halfway finished, could have been treasure chest. But because I knew how far I could and couldn't go with something based on my skill level and my lack of skill level, I knew how to twist something to my own liking to turn it into something it should have never really looked like. Not should have never, but usually won't ever. They always look at stuff for what it is. Therefore, they know what they can and cannot do with something. Let's take Mr. Leonardo da Vinci, right? He practiced drawing and painting angel wings for a long time. Like, he just couldn't get it right. Just couldn't get it right. So you want to know what he did? He started studying big birds, like birds of prey, eagles, falcons, things of that nature, just becoming an expert in birds just because he wanted to paint angel wings. He had to think, okay, yeah, I know this is an angel, and you know, angels are usually depicted with wings, but I really need to study wings in order to make this angel look like an angel. What has wings? Birds. See, he took something really realistic and twisted it into something that was more of a fantasy like thing. Not that angels are fantasy creatures, they're real. And I don't believe all angels have wings neither. And they're definitely not naked babies sitting on clouds playing a harp and shooting arrows. They look more like the Silver Surfer. They look more like Magneto, and they operate more like Superman. Like angels are terrifying. But as far as how he wanted to paint one, he wanted to paint one as like a person with these wings. He needed to know how the wings came out of the back of the bird, what all the bone structures were like, what feathers went where. Like, he needed to know the entire bone structure of a wing and the entire bone structure of the bird's back in order to know how the wings need to come out of the back. A true artist is a realist, not an optimist or a pessimist. A realist. They never look at things for what they could be. Yes, they do, but that's not their driving force. Their driving force is first, what is this? And by knowing what this is, now I know how to stretch my imagination out to what it could be and what it could not be. Sometimes artists get involved with people that they know are in positions right now where they're not necessarily at a certain level. They look at everybody for what they are, the heart of a man, not the money of a man, not the beauty of a woman, not the position somebody is. They look at everybody's heart. Even if that means dealing with some people who others might look down on and despise. Because artists like building teams. People with certain, like, you ever play like a game, right? And like you got like these little like levels to each one of your skill sets. They building a team, and everybody's got levels to their skill sets, and you need to find out what goes where and who goes where and who's good at what and this and that, not for what anybody look like or appear to be. They first look at, what is this person? Who are you? What are you? Naturally, you are compassionate. Naturally, you are tenderhearted. Naturally, you are kind. But you ain't got a lot of friends. Like, you ain't got a lot of followers. You ain't got a lot of supporters. Like, you might even look weird. Like, you know what I'm saying? But they building, like, they like building teams of people with different experience levels at different things and different heart conditions and things like that. They even look at themselves that way. They know not to put square pegs in round holes just because that square peg looked better than the round peg. Sometimes a lot of people frustrate themselves trying to put round pegs in square holes just because the round peg looks better. And it's not about that. It just don't go there. Not unless you cut out that hole. Most of the time people won't. Or not unless you shave the sides of the pegs and reshape them. But that's not always our place. One of the most strange things about artists is that they are, a true artist is very unpredictable. An unpredictable person. You can't just assume what somebody's gonna do all the time. And even if you can, you always can't assume why they do what they do. They look at life through a different lens than some people do. Every day they're painting a picture. They're adding to this picture they're painting. Every day. And so if an artist might seem a little mean sometime, that does not mean they're mad at you. They might seem mean specifically because they just gotta be, and they don't have to feel anything about it. They might seem a little mean because everybody but you is frustrating them, and you just adding to it in a way. I mean, you ain't cause it, you just started to add to it. Artists like to sing to the, artists like to walk to the beat of their own drum, and they don't appreciate nobody taking them off tune. Nothing personal, it's just, hey, you sending me off tune right now. That's it. It ain't gotta be nothing more than that. Just don't send me off tune. We'll get along just fine. Sometime like when an artist is really plugged in, man, the last thing they want is somebody sending them off tune. Like, here they are, plugged in, wired in, and here goes somebody. One of the kids tattletelling over something stupid. And they got a big brother sitting there who could have done something about it, and he just sat there and watched it. And now you got to lose your tune over something they could have solved themselves. And artists know when to just leave some things to other people. Some things some people are better off doing other than me. I have things to do for everybody that's for the good of everybody that nobody but me can do. And sometimes artists get real frustrated when they find themselves tied up with stuff other people can do. Especially when other people are doing nothing. Just like I said, artists like to be left alone. Not because they don't like being bothered, but because they know if I don't finish my work, only everybody else is going to be, only everybody going to be mad at me. I can't be constantly sent off balance, and I still got a list of my own stuff to do. Doing stuff somebody else can do. Oh man, like that, man. And like that really apply a lot to my life, because sometimes like I might be outside gardening. All the kids sitting on the couch watching TV, doing nothing. 13 and 14-year-olds. And I'm being called all the way in the house with muddy hands, muddy boots to come change a diaper. And I'm just saying to myself, like, so y'all find it more beneficial for me to walk in here muddy, like having to figure out how to get all this mud off of me before I come in here to change a diaper. And not one of y'all sitting here playing the game could have done that. Now it's getting ready to rain tomorrow, and this stuff need to go in the ground. Can one of y'all go do that? Well, we don't know how. See, artists just don't like being sent off tune, especially for stuff somebody else could do. I ain't mean to get so personal on that, but like I said, like the only way a lot of my talks can make more sense is unless I tell real stories. And I know a lot of people in my life don't like feeling like they being talked about, but like honestly, like this is making you a superstar. So like you should appreciate that. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I think you should appreciate that, you know? Heck. Man, what else is about an artist? Man, the mind of an artist, it runs deep. An artist sometimes can be a little cynical too. An artist can even be a little spiteful if their attitudes go too far. Artists really know how to get back at somebody, specifically because they take the time to build out their emotions. No, an artist is not going to sit around getting caught up in an argument and debate all over Facebook. No. Like, they will literally take the necessary steps to go as far as they possibly can go to put an end to all of this for good. I cannot afford this. Let's put an end to this game. An artist is not going to be the person in the battlefield shooting bullets back and forth. No, they're going to be the person in the laboratory learning how to build a nuke and drop a bomb on somebody. Say, forget all of this. Let's go out in style. And artists get really emotionally attached to their work. Sometimes you really need to watch that. Artists like to have compliments. Or not even compliments, but just input. Like, you don't got to say it's nice. You don't got to say it's bad. But sometimes you can say what you like the most about it, even if it is bad. What you dislike the most about it. That way they can bounce off of that and go back to the drawing board and make it different or better. Artists don't like feeling like their work is being overlooked. Well, it's just another one of them things he did. No big deal. It's just another day of him doing it. Sometimes an artist can feel that way about their own work. Oh, this is just another photo shoot I did. Like, I've been feeling like that for a long time. Like, my wife be telling me, how come you don't post enough of your pictures? These pictures are good. I don't see quality like this that much. I'm like, it's just I'm just too used to seeing it. I'm gonna really have to do something drastically different that's gonna make me want to post it. Sometimes I just move on to the next thing and I forget all about it. Artists need to find balance. If they don't find balance, man, they're gonna suffer. If an artist don't get on top of not only doing the work but capitalizing off the work, they're gonna look around and not have any work to do until they already too far gone, needing the money already. Like, you don't know how many great things that I've done that nobody ever seen because I always move on to the next thing. It's like, now hold on, man. Artists need to remember to keep the passion alive in their work. That means learning new skills, staying on the edge, always taking risks. Artists need up and down seasons. It can't just always be the same. They get bored, tired, mentally drained, just from everything being the same. Artists don't like routine. That's why most artists don't work regular 9-to-5 jobs. Heck, you might even see them doing door-to-door sales specifically because they want to go in different neighborhoods for a change instead of always being at the same store or in the same factory. I'd rather work this hard job that nobody sticks with than to be in the same dang on store 8 hours a day, repeating the same phrases, looking at the same products to sell all day long. I'd rather walk around and have conversations with people. Speaking of that, an artist is usually an introvert. But an introvert does not mean socially awkward. An artist is usually socially awkward when the environment is not necessarily an environment that's compatible with where they are going in life. Sometimes they can easily see when some environments and some people groups are just a waste of their time. Not that it's a waste of everybody else's time, not that it's actually good for nothing. It's just them not making the best use of their specific time. I don't go to a lot of parties unless I'm taking pictures. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't go to a lot of functions and banquets and things of that nature. I just don't. I would rather work all day. Unfortunately, some people are like that. Some people would rather work all day than to hang out. Some people would rather work themselves to death than to take a break and just chill. To them, their work is chilling. Dead serious. An artist not only finds their work to be hard sometimes, but they also find it to be like one of the ultimate sources of their pleasure. Just in case we got any women or men out there who are married to an artist, if they're working all the time, it's nothing personal. That's their pleasure center. That's what keeps them going. If you don't got nothing else to do, jump in with them. They enjoy that. They find that attractive, inspiring. Artists don't like being pulled away from work for no good reason. And that's not to say that artists do nothing but work and don't care about nothing else. That's not true. And in order for an artist to have work to do, they have to be interactive with reality. Like I said, a true artist learns to be a realist. If I know nothing about reality and life outside of work, I will eventually run out of things to do. I will get no ideas. I will not overhear conversations that might spark thoughts in my head that send me on a spiral of just coming up with something else. I will never overhear other people's drama that might give me a good idea for a song to write. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like an artist might find a lot of pleasure in work, but they also know that I need to be outside of that too, or else I will run out of what to do. I need to make time to sit down and just talk to my wife. Sometimes just hearing her talk about God knows what for I don't know how long, it really started provoking thoughts in my head that then turn into different ideas, different things. And just be like, you know what, that's a good idea. Just like that gummy bear necklace I made. If I would have never seen her at the mall looking at amethyst necklaces, I would have never thought to do that. Which mean what? I had to spend time away from just doing stuff and just go hang out. So just because I said what I said does not mean that that's all it is. Because I get a lot of people that watch my videos and they comment on one thing and not hear the rest of what I said to support that one thing, and then they draw a conclusion based on half the story, and then they expect me to argue with them about it. Like, no. If you're going to argue with me about anything, just hear it all first. After hearing it all, you might not have an argument at all. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes people just be that way. You just be like, man, what in the world is wrong with people? Sometimes artists think like that. They think like, what the heck is so wrong with people? Artists really do believe that people are weird. Like, I wonder why they do that. I wonder what drove them that far. I wonder what's going on in your head. Man, who peed in your coffee? Sometimes artists feel like they've been here before. I'm not lying to you, they do. They search far and wide for something that surprises them. You know what I'm saying? They do. Like, it's like, okay, when is anybody gonna be different? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, not to say that they think nobody is different, but still, a lot of stuff don't surprise them. They pay attention to too much to ever run across something they never seen before. Like, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, these are just some of my thoughts. You know, I like documenting what I come up with. I think it's good to hear. Everybody don't think the same. That's the reason I watch content. Like, I like to hear what's on somebody else's mind sometimes, especially if it's educational. Artists find education to be their entertainment. Artists might do very little entertainment for a long time and focus solely on education. And then they got them times when they need to just have recreation. I probably might play a video game for like a week straight out of a 3-month period. I don't even know why I buy them. I've been playing the same game since like 2018, 2020, maybe something like that. That series. Like, yeah, I might play this for a good week while I sit here with nothing to do, you know. And then after that, I ain't clicking on this all summer. That is entertainment to them, education. Like, I can watch tutorials the same way people watch TV shows. I really can. I can look up how-to videos the same way people are looking up celebrity drama. An artist really values a spiritual life. They put high value on their spiritual life. Like, even if they in, like, you know, what we might call a false religion, they still put really high value on a spiritual life. It keeps them inspired. It keeps them full and fueled. They can't neglect that. God is an artist, the ultimate artist. Most of the art we create is inspired by something God made already. I'm going to paint this picture that look like Saturn. Well, who made Saturn? You know what I'm saying? I'm going to take a panorama of this landscape. It looks really beautiful the way it's all put together. Well, who put it together? Artists take a lot of value in their spiritual life because that's what connects them to the ultimate source of inspiration and motivation and revelation. They can't go without that. can't. It's like a must every day. And I'm not saying everybody else can go without it. I'm just saying, like, some of the most spiritual people on this planet are artists. Dead serious. Like, even if they're a part of some kind of new age religion or some kind of satanic cult or something like that, the most spiritual people on this planet are artists. Not that I'm signing off on any of it, but still, that's just the way it is. Think about all these celebrities who puts Satanism in all of their music. The majority of the time Satanism is on TV is in music, movies, clothing lines. That's art. Not lying to you, it is. That's just the way it is. Like, you will hardly ever see landscape companies promoting spirituality of any sort. But art, yes. Artists put a high value on a spiritual life. And they do not really tolerate people who offends that. They just don't. But other than that, y'all, I'm out of here. I got to get going. Peace. I catch y'all in the next video. Oh, and thank you for watching. Please like the video, subscribe. Send this to somebody who need to know this. Send this to somebody who is an artist and just see if they think it's true. I just want to see. And what's one thing I missed? If there's something I missed, leave that in the comments. Anything you think I can add to this, because this might not be my last video about this. But other than that, y'all, talk to you later. Peace.